because this mic is a little fucking weird, and I want to make sure that I have this one.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't want your voice to be all fucked up. That would be bad. I'm the engineer, fucking interviewer guy, and then like if your voice was fucked up,
It would just not.
It would be a
on
bad look.
Yeah, exactly. And Wazzy's the engineer.
We can't be doing that. All right, so yo, like what fucking like gets you going, like in terms of this creative shit, like in terms of when you first started, like what made you? I know like everyone like thinks rappers are cool and shit, but like what made you want to like get into music, like?
Yeah, so that's a good question, man. So I guess like when I was growing up, I just like naturally was like a hyper kid, like way too hyper for my own good, and like I was always banging on things as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think like when I was really young, like my family was like they got me like little kid instruments, like pianos, like drums.
Really?
Yeah, like.
But you don't play any instruments like now.
So I play drums, and I like.
Right.
I used to play like. Funny enough, like the recorder and like a little
violin.
Yo, like,
I played the recorder too back in like middle school.
So like I always like
the recorder was
kind
of tight.
It was kind of tight. It was slept on. I even played the harmonica, like weird stuff, bro.
Right.
So like,
harmonica.
Yeah.
Shout out Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Shout out to Bob Dylan, man, legend. But yeah, they just like gave me a whole bunch of instruments growing up, and like I just would go to like my energy. I would just like transition it into like the music things.
Yeah.
And I was just bugging out on the drums and like all the. So I think as I got older, like music always like stood out to me, and I like grew up in the church, so
yeah,
I was always around like the music in church, like gospel music.
Yeah.
And like even if I like didn't really like relate to the other stuff yet in my life, like the music was always like I was the one bugging out as a kid. Like music just got me going as a kid. So I feel like
So like how old are you when you first start, putting music out? Like your first project and your first like SoundCloud stuff, I'm sure is how you got started, but
yeah, man. I'd like so.
And how old are you currently for context?
Yeah,
or like generally?
Yeah, so I'm 27 now. So when I started like making music for years, but I released like my first thing probably when I was like 18, 19, like recording in like a friend's like closet or something like that. It was kind of like
that's fucking sick. That's always how it be.
Yeah, it was like humble beginnings type stuff. You know what I mean? And like we did like probably like 8, and then I released it, and it was like I didn't really know much about it.
And that was solo shit, like at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was in a group called Bars. Funny enough, in like high school.
Was that like okay? So this is a group called Bars, but was that like before you ever put solo shit out, or was that like you were already a solo artist and then y'all kind of formed?
Oh no! So I started I started out as a group when I was like in like 10th grade. Like Bars was like a 10th grade high school bullshit kind of group.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to them. It's not bullshit, but it kind of was.
No, yeah,
of
course.
Anywhere,
10th grade. Yeah, that's
it's
sick.
Just like
Right.
We released we went to like some studios, overpaid, and like paid and did some like crappy records. Like they were okay for our kids, and we dropped it. But yeah. So I was in like 10th grade, probably like 17, 18, 16, whatever I was. Like we released like a little group, a couple songs here and there.
Right.
It wasn't like nothing serious.
Damn, that's crazy. So
yeah.
So like to UA, because like UA is like your group.
Yeah.
How like when did that get started in terms of like you rapping and UA getting formed, you meeting Kush and K?
Yeah, so that happened like now, like funny crazy time flies, like I guess 5 years as of now, or like 4.5 or whatever. But I met Kush through Bars.
So you had been putting music out for like five years already.
Yeah, but I took big breaks. Like I didn't take music really completely serious till Urbvn Architects.
Right.
Like that's when I like sat down with as a group, but also like with me as a person. Like, okay, I'm doing this music shit. Like that's what it was.
What was like the approach change? Like when like UA, when you started making music with UA, did it like did anything like you start thinking about it differently and shit?
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm gonna just drop an album. Like basically, like I wanted to drop like our Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Like like our entry into the world. Like these singles here and there with no promotion. Like these big breaks. Like no fans. Like nothing going on for us.
And that's
like,
mutual understanding.
Yeah, mutual understanding. So I was like, So I knew Kush through Bars actually. Like he didn't even go to like he was friends from a friend I knew, and we met. So we knew each other for a while.
Yeah.
On and off, and he didn't even live in New York at the time. And then Kay I met through another friend who like I kind of had a rap thing going with, but like he ended up not really wanting to pursue it.
Wow.
So like all love, but it just wasn't really for him at the time. So me and Kay met through them, and then we all three were like the only ones I noticed were like with a mutual vision. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the word like the album called Mutual Understandings came up be.
That's sick.
Because like we all came from different rap groups and like collectives that didn't work.
Right.
And we were like the like last man standing who like really wanted to do it. So
Yeah, yeah,
and these were
yeah.
also my homies, so like it was natural. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
But yeah, I wanted to take it serious because like I was just BSing for way too long, like just kind of taking it serious, but not
Yeah.
taking it serious. So
It's really hard though, I feel like when you're like young, I guess,
exactly, and I was
to
going through
figure it
mad
out.
shit as we all do. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
was hard to balance like life.
I mean, you see
You know?
like a lot of rappers who are like 17, 18 on the internet and shit. So you could like obviously like want to compare yourself to that. But like generally, most of us have to like, learn and figure things out and shit and then like adapt or like,
Exactly.
make your way like based on what you've learned and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm actually happy you say that because that's like something I tell to a lot of my friends who ask me for advice who are younger.
Yeah.
Like, live a little life before you start rapping. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you have more to say. Like, when I was like 17, thank God I didn't get like a fan base.
That's really good, bro. Because there's
Yeah.
there's people that just don't necessarily like content wise. They kind of like they lack, but it's like almost because they don't. I don't know. Maybe it's their approach, but
Yeah.
but
The more you live, the more you can rap about. You know what I mean? And the more
yeah,
perspective you have. Like, if I'm so glad I didn't like get a fan base or blow up when I was like 16, 17, because I would be lost, man. Like,
yeah,
I went through a lot of crazy life stuff on all my teenage years. So when I started rapping in my early 20s, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, or like taking it serious in my early 20s, I mean,
Right.
like I just felt like I had so much shit to say. Like I still have shit to say. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So I'm
So
glad.
like,
Yeah.
sorry,
No,
UA starts. Y'all are putting music out. Are you still putting like your own music out at that time? Like how when does like kind of like guys like Adam Snow come into the picture and guys like I mean I know UA makes like uses homage beats or
Yeah.
I mean I know Adam Snow you met after you started linking with me,
Yeah.
but I feel like that was a big venture into your solo shit that I hadn't like ever kind of seen
Yeah.
before.
100%. So when UA started gaining some buzz, so I wasn't a solo artist. I like released my solo stuff like a year into UA.
Yeah.
So UA started building some traction and like a little fan base.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do my solo stuff as well. You know what I mean? And like, so I just ventured out like maybe a year and a half into UA, getting a little buzz
Yeah.
to my solo career. And people who are fans of UA like noticed Young K, noticed me, like those people who have like all rap groups, people have like favorites or people they like, you know what I mean? So like I guess some people like gravitated toward me, some people, everyone gravitates to their own whoever they like relate to. So I built a little thing off that, off UA, and then I just like started going ham. You know what I'm saying? And still utilizing the platform as UA.
Yeah.
So like everything I did was helping our brand of urban architects,
Right.
but also like I was trying to solidify myself as a solo artist as well. You know what I mean?
No, what was I gonna go into? I was gonna start asking about like religion because you have songs called like The Prayer and this new one coming out is called Faith.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with God and like how like does that like get in like how like explain?
Yeah, for sure. So like growing up, like I was born in like a very like religious family, and I kind of like didn't really fit in with that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the way I was living, as all kids are. Just I was like a rebellious kid. I was like very like hard headed. So didn't really believe in anything for a long period of my life because it was
Yeah.
kind of like your family means well, but they were kind of like pushing it down my throat. I was like used to Sunday church every time.
Right.
So like and there was a lot of like fake people in the church, like just to keep it a buck. So like I had like a bad, and I felt a lot of judgment,
Yeah.
just for being kind of like a little, I don't know, a little wild boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, when I listen to your music, the reason why I asked the question is when I listen to your music, there's a lot of themes of like, like the urban architects, like street life and things like that. So it's
Yeah.
like, I guess that's like a common thing to be religious and have that, but like where like I'm sure there's like some crossover where
Exactly.
it's almost like a little bit
100%. That's why like my album was like duality, because it was like I was like like that's where that came from. So duality was like the good and bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
there's like bad people and bad
That's ill, bro.
vices.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like I felt like one part of like my old ways and the people I'm around that weren't the best were like pulling me. And
Yeah.
then like as I grew older and like got closer to God and found my own like spiritual lane, like and like spiritual like connection with God, like that was pulling me too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just being on this earth and kind of like being like I had less time with God than God was always with me, but like I had less time knowing that. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like knowing like your catalog, I feel like you've definitely gone more like as you've gotten older.
100%.
You've gone a lot more in like a religious direction, which is
Absolutely. And
hell.
like it's so interesting because like I don't even look at myself as like a religious rapper, but I think
Nah,
like
definitely not.
yeah, but like at the same time, like I touch on a lot of spiritual themes because I have to be honest, like I allocate my spirituality and my sense of self
Yeah.
for me being here today, like
Yeah.
alive, period.
Right.
So like I feel like when I rap, it just comes out so naturally and like like the old me would be like, "Damn, you talking a lot about like spiritual stuff. Like, what are you doing, kid?" But like it
What are you doing, kid?
but at the same time, like it comes so naturally from like my heart and my spirit
No, of
that like
course.
I feel like it must be said. And like if people like a lot of people like if you really break down the lyrics, I'm not really trying to be too preachy or like I'm because I hate it when people would be like OD preachy to me.
Right.
I'm just trying to be honest with my story. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like and how I became the man I am today and like the understandings I have.
Yeah.
So, if people rock with it, and I've had a lot of people like ask me spiritual questions, and that's dope. You know what I mean? Like I never thought that it was gonna happen,
Wow.
but hey, you know what I'm saying? I do feel like everyone has a purpose on this earth, and like I know I was given a talent, and just from my life's experiences, like I know I was meant to do something to help people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just happened to be music.
Yeah.
So like, might as well talk about my feelings on that.
Right.
And I don't care. People don't like agree. Just vibe with the music. You know what I mean? That's why I try to find the
Totally.
balance of
Totally.
it. You know what I'm saying?
So like you got duality, you got all these projects and
Yeah.
there's all sorts of different production going on, all sorts of different producers. Like what when you're like going and picking a beat in the studio, what are you thinking these days? Like
Man, I literally let the beat control my writing. So a lot of
yeah.
people like write to a beat, and I'll do that once in a while. But what I really do if I'm making like my own projects, I listen to a beat. I don't really have like a specific thing I want to sound. It could be like soulful, it could be trap, it could be anything. As
Yeah.
if I hear it and within 5 seconds I'm freestyling and I can't stop, I'm writing to that. So a lot of it just I let because I like the beat to be the outside like creative influence because as an artist I'm controlling everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one reason I kind of didn't get into making beats because I like that outside influence from like a different brain, a different mind state, a different like a whole bunch of influences creatively. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear that beat, I would have never made that beat. That just like triggers something out of me to like probably rap or talk about things I would not talk about if it was my
That's so
own. You know what
interesting.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. How do you think that's like changed over time? Is that always been like the case, or were you like did you used to be like really picky? Or
Yeah, I was definitely more picky. I think I just like try to stay in a lane when I was younger.
yeah,
Like I was like, oh, I'm underground raw. I need to
Ooh,
stay there. You know what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
I got
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
stay in this raw lane. I can't
yeah.
be rapping on these trap beats or I can't be rapping on these like soulful Mac Miller type
I
beats.
can't be
Like
making projects like the one you have with Ethan Ross.
exactly. I can't do like an experimental project with like I did with Ethan Ross.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
great
yeah.
example.
And
But
that project is some interesting stuff.
yeah, it's
It's
very
cool.
interesting.
It's cool.
Yeah,
It's really
man.
cool. It's different from the other shit you've done. And
100%.
I honestly don't know if that's like my favorite stuff of yours, but
Yeah.
it's fucking sick that you like
Did it, you know what
did
I
it.
mean?
It's so
Yeah.
sick.
And I kind of just like I just as I got older, I just wanted to have fun with music, man. I
Yeah,
just want to have fun with music. Like I fell in love with art, with music. I didn't
yeah,
fall in love strictly with rap, underground rap.
yeah,
That just happened to be like where like a strong connection of mine is, like with like I love that shit. I grew
yeah.
up on it, but at the same time, like bro, I was playing guitars, singing. I was in rock bands. Like I did.
You were in rock
Yeah,
bands.
like in my mom's basement. Like I was a
Wow.
drummer, and my friends were like jamming out. We
So
like
that's like before the rap group and
before the
shit.
rap shit even got
God
serious.
damn,
Like
that's ill,
I
bro.
just, you know what I mean? I was growing up listening to gospel, listening to jazz, listening to soul, R&B,
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I got into hip hop. My like, I was late into like getting exposed to hip hop, like maybe 14. That's not late, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was into everything else, too. So, yeah, man, I just love music. So, like, I can really do any type of music. I never want to be boxed in. That's my biggest thing.
yeah.
Because what if like 10 years from now I'm doing some other stuff? Like, what are you gonna? I don't want people to be surprised.
You're
Like,
right,
I'm
right.
starting off like early in my career, doing whatever I want. You know
Trying
what
to
I'm
make
saying?
that timeless
Exactly,
shit.
man. Like,
Yeah,
like I don't want people used to be like, "Yo, you're underground," or like you're too lyrical, whatever. Like
yeah.
these labels, like if you really dig through my catalog, you can't say anything. Like I might have more lyrical raw songs than the others, but there's others that are fire, like
Yeah,
hype songs, emotional songs. So
right.
yeah,
So you started UA, right? It was your idea.
yeah. It was me and Young K. It was
Okay.
yeah. I think we both had like a similar idea that like it clicked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like aesthetically, like I feel like it's really like good. I don't know, like you could tell you're an artist and not just a rapper when
Thank
when
you,
you see
man.
UA and you kind of like learn more about like your group and you see the way you're presented on social media, your aesthetic
Yeah.
and you listen to the music, but like what other art mediums do you like kind of get into other than
Yeah, man.
because you have a fucking camera like
Yeah.
you're always filming shit like what other
Yeah.
like shit do you be getting into other than rapping?
Yeah, I'm really into visuals so much. So
Yeah.
like, just like I took, when we made UA, like I took the aesthetics very seriously. I still do, but like maybe even more back then. And even for Josh Alias, like I take aesthetics really seriously. I think the visuals really bring the music to life for
Yeah.
a lot of people. So I really be like, I'd be creative directing a lot of visuals, a lot
Right.
of like, people's cover arts. I'd just be helping out and stuff. You know what I mean? I've directed music videos before. I do a lot of editing for like cover arts and shit like that. Like I draw, like I do graffiti a lot. Like I grew up on graffiti. Like that was
Yeah.
like a big thing for me. And like all the merch, Alias merch, I'm drawing on like a and scanning it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I
Right.
just
So you got like the
do it.
graffiti hand too, like
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, man. I graffiti like changed like before I like rap saved my life. Graffiti saved my life. You know what I mean? So like,
Wow.
and that's affected all of UA's aesthetic, in my opinion, and all of my aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like, there's like,
No, I
yeah,
absolutely, bro. That's part of like what I think about when I think of UA, kind of
yeah,
like
the grittiness, the urban. You know what I'm saying? So
totally. Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, bro, what you got next? Like, what's your plans coming next? I mean, we've
yeah,
covered a lot of other shit. I'm sure we'll do this again.
100%.
It's the first time. It's a little, a little tension in the shoulders. But
Yeah.
but bro, like, what you got coming next? You got this new song, Faith, that we're working on heavy right now.
Hell yeah. You know what's crazy? So it was gonna be the song, but I'm actually gonna name that little project Faith, and that's gonna be a song on it.
Ill.
So yeah,
Okay, so the whole project's
it's
called
called
Faith. That's
Faith.
news to me. That's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
sick,
I just
bro.
made that yesterday.
That's
so
fucking ill.
100%. But yeah, bro.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So that's by the end of the year, or
end of the year, 100%. Because I've been pushing off things.
you hear that?
Yeah.
New Alias by the end of the year.
End of the year, man.
Pre-save it when it's there.
Hell yeah, let's get it,
Goddamn.
man. So it's gonna be like a 7-song project. Yo, it's gonna really show like my growth as an artist. Yeah, it's really different, man. It's like it's finding a balance of being like, I guess, like deep in quotes, but also like raw with bars. You know what I'm saying? Like
You don't. That's not. Those can't like pass. Those could definitely pass over deep
yeah,
and raw with bars.
It's yeah, but I'm finding like a better balance of it. Like it's gonna be like sonically really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the production is A1. A lot of dope producers on it. And every song has a concept, like a theme. Every song is conceptual, and it all goes to like the overall concept of like faith. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, bro.
So it's really dope, man. It's like different for me, but it's exciting, and it's gonna be by the end of the year. Just going through mixing with my boy,
I
the legend.
don't even know what songs are on this project yet.
Yeah, I know. So we're still figuring it out, but I have a good idea. Of,
Well,
like, most of the songs.
I don't.
Yeah. I have like 90% of it picked out. So yeah, man, it's
Hell
coming
yeah.
out the end of the year, and then UA. K is dropping a young K from UA is dropping an album.
Hell yeah,
it's
bro.
be
K's gonna
amazing.
be the next fucking person I get to sit down with, and then I'm
Yeah.
also gonna sit down with both of you guys. So like,
yeah, it's gonna be legendary.
that's all coming soon. Like, if you're watching, thanks for watching. This is Josh Alias here,
Gang.
Just Waz, the WOBN interview series. And yeah, this is the first one, so sorry if it's a little awkward. I'm just getting to
We
it.
outside,
but
man.
We
Yeah.
outside.
This
yeah.
is my real life bro too. You know what I mean? So
Listen to Josh Alias's music if you haven't. And yeah, man, it's some good stuff.
peace.
Do the Nardwar shit. I don't know. I don't know how to start.
Yeah, it's dope, bro.